This is Antoine Jones from In the Know with Antoine Jones with a special report on the people's protest against the proposed immigration reform bill. I was up on the Hill and I got to talk to some of the people about their opinions and views on this proposed bill.
Because if we do not stay and Parliament goes in, the One Bermuda Alliance has the vote to pass this bill.
Well, this is definitely a very historic moment in Bermuda history, seeing as how many Bermudians came out to show support against the government-proposed Immigration Reform Act. So how do you feel about this whole immigration reform?
I think that it's a shame that it's come to this. The government has had numerous opportunities to keep their word that they've given in throne speeches and before the election, and they refused to do it. But I will tell you the truth is that this morning when I came into Parliament, I had tears in my eyes. I had tears in my eyes because I was proud to see Bermudians stand up for my daughter's future and my unborn son's future.
I feel that we need to, first of all of us need to stick together. We need to just do the sacrifice for not just ourselves, but for our future generation.
So as a former dignitary of Bermuda, how do you feel about this whole act that's going on?
Well, for one thing, I'm quite glad to see that many people have come with their young people and that there's another generation who are finally learning the history of what their ancestors went through to try and make sure that they had a say in what happens in this country. And I think it is a very similar event to what Bermuda has experienced before, but many of us weren't here when those things happened, and so we don't believe that we had to fight for all of the rights we enjoy today. But we did. I am hoping that we will find a way to come together on this and to listen to each other and to find a compromise that will be in the best interest of all.
So as a young person like myself, how do you feel about this whole immigration reform?
I feel as if I need to protect my future, first of all. I feel like what they're doing is definitely wrong because at the end of the day, I am Bermudian and everything that I should have should be for me. I shouldn't have to give it to those who are not Bermudian, and I just feel like my future is in jeopardy.
When we're united, we're strong and we succeed, and when we're divided, nothing will ever work for us. And I feel that as Bermudians, this is what we should be doing. We need to protect ourselves, our future, our children.
Can you tell us how you feel about this immigration reform?
Well, I feel it's something that probably needs to be done, but it's all about the process, and I think that's all the people are really concerned about now is the process, because it was mentioned, much earlier that we would move in this direction, but we weren't going to move in this direction this way, so to speak. So I'm impressed with, the people that are out, the support. It's quite evident. Yes, very evident. We have to tell it like it is. It is a racial thing right now. Sorry, but I just hope that someday soon, we get a resolve and we all can just get around the table, talk about it, work it out, and move forward.
And plainly, I'm completely against it. We should be having a thorough discussion on immigration, which is what the committee has been calling for, immigration reform. So it's absolute nonsense. Here are some of the things that are happening. Some of the implications of this bill are that they're seeking to create a middle class of foreign nationals, because if they all become Bermudians, they'll have the ability to operate within our community, own homes. And there are middle class people in our country, local Bermudian middle class, black, white, Portuguese, who are struggling. What a ridiculous policy this is. So clearly I'm against it, yeah.
So what would you say to a young kid like me or anybody else that doesn't know anything about this?
Yeah. First, to get educated about your country, get educated so that you're informed, because information is knowledge.
Me as a Bermudian, I feel that personally for myself, I have to look out for my children and my grandchildren that are coming up. Okay, this is not right for Bermuda at all. And this is a time to gather today while we're all here to make a standard and to let Bermudians know that this is for us and our children come up. And it's nice that everybody is together today in Bermuda. This has made history for Bermuda.
So what outcome would you like to see out of this?
The outcome that I would like to see is that they take it completely off the table. I don't have a problem with foreign people coming to my country to work. The problems that I do have is that for our children that are coming back from school now, that want to get jobs and can get jobs. And our Bermuda government needs to understand that this is for Bermudians only.
So what is this immigration reform all about?
The immigration reform bill is about, making sure that we get comprehensive immigration reform and a pathway to status that protects not just, the people that are looking to come here, but we also want to make sure Bermudians have the protection that they need in relationship to not being displaced in their own country. And rather that looks like 10 or 15 years time where people like yourselves might want to run from Parliament. And if we just open up a pathway status for any and everybody without having some kind of quotas and those sort of things, we'll have no control. And we don't think that that's the correct way to go. So that's why we want to sit down and have a conversation about comprehensive immigration reform that creates a pathway to status.
Well, thank you for speaking with us today.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I feel that today is a very significant day in our history, that it is very important, that the people are speaking, the government's still not listening. The people are seeking bipartisanship in terms of the comprehensive immigration reform, and I think it's a time that it has to happen. I don't see why the government is holding back on having discussion. There has to be compromise, there has to be collaboration in any government for it to be successful.
Part of this fight right here is so that young people like yourself can build upon the struggles and the lessons of their ancestors. Okay, I'm an Afrocologist, I am an educator, a poet, and a teacher, and my daily work is about teaching young people like yourself to take the initiative to learn the lessons of the history, to not only know about Sally Bassett and Mary Prince, but to know about the conspiracy of 1761 and how the people of the island then came together to try to end slavery by any means necessary. That's not taught in our school books. So it is incumbent upon young people, if you're not getting your history and culture in school, you need to go to the library, get the books, talk to your grandparents and great-grandparents about the struggle they went through, about the Belco riots, about the theater boycott, and those who fought, literally put their lives on the line like you see out here now, so that you and your children will have a Bermuda.
So how do you feel about this whole Immigration Reform Act?
How I feel about it, I'm here to make sure that my child and everybody else's children has a future here.
The government really needs to take a bipartisan approach, and all the parties need to come together and to really discuss this, because this is a very important issue in Bermuda, and I don't think that one side should just have their way or their say in this issue. It's two important issues, so you need a balanced approach. You need everybody to come together and discuss it so that everybody benefits, not just one political party.
So how do you feel about this whole immigration reform?
How do I feel about it? My feelings, I think, are a reflection of how the majority of Bermudians feel. It makes us very uneasy. We understand through the historical process over the last 40 years that immigration has been used to manipulate or re-engineer our society, always to the detriment of the majority of people. And it seems as at this point, most of us are now woken to the motives of the current government, and I'm very, very pleased to see the people starting to have that awakening in consciousness.
Well, there's a lot of Bermudians out there today, so how do you feel about this turnout?
I'm very proud. I'm very proud. In fact, my deputy leader was overwhelmed this morning, and it took him an hour to catch himself. He was crying. He wasn't crying because he was upset. He was crying because he didn't expect the people to respond to the own self-preservation the way he did. Basically, what the people have done today is send a signal that this is for the children and those who are unborn, and that's why it's very satisfying.
So one last quick question for you. What would you like to see going ahead in the future? What outcome would you like to see out of this?
I'd like for us to, I'd like to see the government to withdraw the bill in its entirety. Let's sit at the table as a joint select committee and come up with a comprehensive plan whereby those who are deserving of status for various reasons, we're ready to get it, but it's not at the detriment of those who are born and bred here. And so comprehensive approach to immigration means that we're seeking to do something that's mutually beneficial and not just singularly beneficial to one side.
It's not a day out of school for them. That's what they fail to realize. A lot of young children, and ones our age, they think today is just a relaxed day. It's not. We need to be out here. This is for us. They fought for us already. Now it's our turn to fight for ourselves.
So basically what the people are saying are they're not against immigration reform, but they simply want their voices to be heard by both parties coming together to solve a solution to this problem. So will that happen? Well, we'll definitely see in the days to come. Thank you for tuning in to this special report from In the Know with Antoine Jones.